A game developer accidentally logged into a game which is similar to the one he developed. Now, he has to struggle to survive and help others in this game. Suzuki Ichirou, a young man working in a company, is currently busy in developing a game. While he is working on the game called Freedom Fantasy Life, his friend comes to check up on him but leaves as he tells him that he would be fixing all the bugs before leaving. Night arrives as we can see him nearly completing his work while his colleague leaves the office. An exhausted Ichirou decides to take a nap as he has worked a lot, so he lays there and takes a nap. Sometime later, he again wakes up and finds himself at a deserted place called Dragon's Valley. Ichirou looks into all the control panel option and notices that he was at level 1. After looking into everything, Ichirou notices that this is the same type of game he was creating, or maybe he is daydreaming. He gets another name in this world like Satou. Some dragons appear out of nowhere and attacks him. Although Ichirou tries his best to defend but fails, so he hides when he sees some Metroids killing the dragons. After the fight is over, the dragon's master calls him for a fight which he wins easily. Satou then looks for an option to log out but is unable to find one and finds himself stuck in this world. Suddenly, he notices that his level has upgraded as he fought with enemies higher his level. Next day, Satou goes to town named Warrior 4. After roaming around for some time, he finds a conflict between warriors and dragon, so he steps in by upgrading his language to help both of them communicate. During all of this, the commander of the warrior orders Xena to stop the dragon from escaping. For this, she uses her powers and Ichirou saves her. Xena gains consciousness and finds herself in Ichirou's arm. They talk for a while where Satou introduces himself as a merchant. At the same time, Xena's friends arrive and tell Satou to back off. To calm the situation down, he again introduces himself as a merchant. Xena and others does not believe him as he does not have merchant papers, but Ichirou comes up with a story about him losing the papers and stuff. The group finally believes him and they decide to take him to the Ichirou city so he can have the merchant papers. When they are in the city, with the help of Xena's friend, Satou gets a rock-type object which he would be necessary for him if he wishes to see the city. After getting all the necessary information from the craftsman of the rock, Satou and Xena leaves. Xena's friend even recommends a place for Satou to sleep. Upon her recommendation, Satou is seen looking for that place when a girl named Martha invites him to stay with her. He afterwards books a room for 10 days and orders some food to eat. As he is busy eating his food, he hears Martha and the owner talking about some coward merchants. When Martha had left, Satou gets up the courage to ask about the merchants. The owner explains everything to him. After some time, Martha and Satou goes to market to buy some supplies where they sees a demi-human being humiliated. Satou gets in between them and saves the demi-humans before he moves on. As the day ends peacefully, Satou still thinks of how can this world be so real as he shuts his eyes. Next day, Xena goes to meet Satou to spend a day with her. Satou agrees and both roams around market. They then heads to church where Xena tells Satou about the historical fight between Demon Lord and the hero. Furthermore, she tells him about the sword he used. If an ordinary person uses the sword, it will not work up to its full power. After this historical tour, they head out to explore the city more. They came across a broken tower and Xena tells the story behind this. Just as they are exploring the city, they came across a man who is selling stone. He tells everyone to buy stones from him and hit the demi-humans. Xena interferes and tries to stop everyone, but to no avail. Satou, who was watching this from afar, decides to help Xena, but picking out the demon hiding among the crow. Just as he gets away with all the troublemakers, he also handles the demon. Finally, Satou convinces the demi-human slaves to join him as he would help him. For this, he hands his sword to Lisa the eldest and tells them about the steps they would need to do when a monster appears. Just as they are discussing, as they encounter a monster and they get away with him easily. Satou makes a spear out of the monster's body and give it to the demi-humans for safety. Soon enough, Satou realizes that he kept killing the monsters by himself. The demi-humans' levels won't increase. So he helps them do it as their level starts increasing. As the group is now tired, they take rest, but another monster attacks them. They have no option but to defeat him and move forward. The group reaches at a strange room where several people were trapped. On Satou's order, everyone gets to work to free others. Just as they are doing so, the boy they met before again treats Yoni badly. So Satou tells Yoni to step back and leave him on his own. The enlarged group then sees an ongoing between monsters and demons. Everyone gets to work to save the others. After defeating all the monsters, Satou introduces Uni and Pochi to Xena. Moving on their journey, Satou and Demon falls into a big tunnel so that they both can fight alone as the demon was hurting everyone else. Satou uses his divine sword and beats the demon with ease, after which he changes his appearance so that no one could recognize him. He then goes out of the tunnel and helps the older knights. Just as the demon was about to lose, he calls out his demon lord to fight with Satou. Satou uses his magic to defeat Demon Lord. He explains to everyone that he has just used his special divine sword, and the title God Killer gives him more power. So that was how he defeated Demon Lord. Satou changes his appearance and officially frees Lisa, Uni, and Pochi by becoming their master. Lolu and Arisa also introduces themselves as they want to be freed as well. They all goes for a walk, after which they all sit down to eat. Everyone starts eating except Satou because he heads to market to buy some stuff after seeing Lolu and Arisa in slave clothing. While he was on his way back, Satou comes across some hungry demi-humans, so he ends up giving all the food items to them. He has brought new clothes for Lolu and Arisa. Martha's mother meets Satou as she was told about the adventure by Xena. Satou asks for more room, but Martha's mother tells him about the way people dislikes demi-humans. Arisa helps Satou by convincing people to treat demi-humans nicely, and it works as she have used some magic. Satou shows the girl their room before dozing off in his. Next day, Martha and Xena wakes him up. Xena sees Arisa sleeping next to Satou and imagines the worst. So Satou gets up to clear the misunderstanding, and he succeeds as Xena trusts him. Arisa meets Satou and Xena outside the inn, but he sends her in to call everyone out. Just as Arisa leaves, he remembers the story she told about how she ended up being a slave. Everyone except Lolu shows up, and Arisa is given a task to buy everything that is needed for the group as he hands her the money. After this, everyone leaves as Xena and Satou watches them. When Xena asks about Satou's plan, Xena requests to join Satou as he will be searching for a place to stay for the demi-humans. A lady named Natty helps him to find a location and takes them to various locations. After visiting several places, Natty tells a dissatisfied Satou that if she would find a better place, she will contact him back. Before leaving, Natty tells them about a new market, so they decide to visit it. While they are exploring the market, they meet the group. Satou shows earring to Xena, but their conversation cut short when Arisa and the kids arrives. While Xena is taken away by Uni and Pochi, Satou buys earrings for Xena. Everyone then goes to watch a show, which makes Xena sad. Soon Xena meets her friends, and when asked about their jet-up, her friends explains that they have just returned from fighting with the ants. On the other hand, Yanni and Pochi caught a dead ant. Satou tells everyone to get ready for a fight, and everyone obliges. Satou finds Nadi in a problem, so he goes to help her, where he meets Nadi's manager. When he comes out of the hotel, he notices the war has ended as all of the ants have been killed. The group then have a feast. During feast, Satou notices Lolu is still not feeling well, so he goes out to buy medicine for her. In the market, he notices some shadows attacking two people. Satou decides to take matter into his own hands and fights the shadows. After which he asks the man in red hat about his identity, but instead of replying him, he asks for his help to save Princess. This was enough for Satou to bring the two back to the hotel, where the hotel manager recognizes the unconscious girl as Princess Mia, and the man is the red hat soldier. Satou gives medicine to Lala as the day ends. Next day, Mia wakes up and Satou asks appearance of spirits. Nady brings food for Mia, which makes her feel dizzy again, but she requests Satou to stay for a bit longer. Satou didn't have the heart to say her no, so he stays. Satou tells everyone about the presence of Mia. Upon the request, everyone else gets to meet Mia, and they all cannot stop but think of her beauty. Satou heads out, where Natty catches him and asks about his cart, as he has claimed himself a merchant. Satou again tells the same story. Natty decides to help by offering an offer for a cart. Satou agrees and hands her the money to buy it. Soon enough, the cart arrives, and just as Satou and Xena are about to try the cart, Satou asks for Mia's address from Natty. She tells him that she resides south of the Shiga Kingdom in Elf Village. Satou asks Lolu to drive the cart as they start their journey. When Satou returns, he sees everyone waiting. After a food break, he goes out to meet the manager who tells him how they ended up here. Satou heads down where everyone tells their stories about thunder experiences. Satou catches an owl turning into a wizard as the owl continues to stare at him. The owl turns out to be Zen, who has come back for Mia. He then attacks everyone using physical magic, freezing everyone else at the stop. Satou, Arisa, and Zen continue to fight. Satou jumps in Zen's shadow and reaches an unknown place because he failed to stop Zen from taking her. It turns out he had jumped into Zen's shadow prison. After some struggle, Satou comes out and meets Zen. This leaves him surprised. Both get into a heated argument. Satou tries to ignore him, but he is transferred into Trazayui's cradle for what he has to pass to meet Mia. Satou had no option but to step into the cradle, and he starts fighting with all the monsters he encounters. Satou comes up with a plan and finds a dryad. He gives her his magical powers and asks her to teleport to the top level. The dryad tells him that she can also teleport him to level 100. Satou agrees as the dryad teleports him. Now he is on level 100, which is the guardian floor. He starts fighting with the guardian. Finally, he finds a damsel and gives his MP to her, thus reaching the top floor. When he meets Zen there, Zen tells Satou that he is not a warrior but a merchant. Zen gives him another test to pass before taking Mia with him. Satou finds himself up against humanoids and guardians. Soon enough, the fight starts, and it was not difficult for Satou to defeat them. He is almost done with all humanoids except one, which was on a higher level and didn't want to give up. Finally, Satou defeats her, but before dying, she requests that he fulfill her master's wish and meets the Underking again. The king hands him a sword as a gift. Satou asks about the wish, and the king explains that he is looking for the person who can kill him. As he starts explaining about his past, after listening to this, Satou uses his sword and finishes him off. As the Underking is dead, Satou gets the title of Underking Slayer. The cradle starts to explode. With little time left, he starts putting all humans together so that they can be teleported. As everyone else is teleported, he takes the number 7 guardian and goes to Dryad to ask for help again. Satou thanks her and asks her to leave with her, but she refuses. A wave of salt is seen approaching. Satou decides to defend himself instead of running away. Finally, Satou gets rid of the salt wave and reaches a safe place. Uni and Pouchi, along with others, are waiting to reunite with Satou as he arrives with number 7. As their previous master is dead, the humanoids declare Satou as their new master. As the humanoids leave for their last mission to place their previous master's ring on his spouse's grave, the group also heads to Ichirou City. Satou greets Xena and hands her the earrings he brought for her. He gives the news of his departure as he is heading out to drop Mia off. They begin their journey, leaving Xena behind. On Satou's order, everyone sets up the luggage after their lunch break. On Arisa's advice, Satou sews all the cushions, which will help them later. After he is done, they play for some time. Satou tells Lisa that they will stop for some time. Yai and Pouchi are asked to gather information about the area Satou is pointing towards. This makes the girls happy and excited. Arisa asks to join them and she is permitted. Just as Satou goes back to sit, Arisa calls him to show her a place. Satou thinks that he is familiar with the place. Satou has a flashback to his friend who tells him about the difference in lifespans between humans and gods. Arisa brings him back to the present, but he cannot stop thinking about the girl. Suddenly, he recalls playing a game with a girl in grade 10 and that the location she was in could be from there. Later, everyone eats the food. Satou meets the rat man who thanks him for saving the princess. Satou arranges his item box. The next day, Mia prays to the ancient tree, after which they continue their journey. During their journey's break, Arisa and Satou are trying to make more magic potions and ends up making an HP recovery potion. Satou and others reach the town of Noki. Satou buys all the necessary items that were about to go empty. Unfortunately, the shop owner does not have it because it was brought by the person who just left the shop. A girl keeps attacking Satou, although Satou does not want to fight her. She calls her master the witch, who apologizes for the girl's behavior. The witch supervises the making of a special portion. Upon asking, the witch tells him that this portion keeps people away from their area. Satou finds the witch's apprentice in trouble, so he decides to help her. But her cart gets hit and half of the food gets spilled. Satou decides to join her and help her as she spills half of the bottles. But the man was in no mood. Satou goes to ask for help from a man whom he has approached before. After a conversation, the man agrees to help them. The group gets to work. Just as the group is done making vines, Dosen arrives and breaks all the vines. Satou explains to the group that he had hidden the vines and shows them the 300 vines they made earlier. The group becomes happy and gets to work. Satou and the group were able to complete the order on time. Satou understands the man's plan and starts pressurizing him. Another man interferes and sets the man from earlier free from his position. The screen shifts as the witch thanks Satou. On the other hand, Xena gets a letter from Satou who tells him everything about the adventure. Pouchy requests a story and Satou agrees to tell one. He wasn't able to complete it as everyone fell asleep halfway through the story.